What is up, guys? You got Not the Worst here, bringing you a Black Desert Online news update, some stuff that went live on the global test servers, and then a couple things from the Korean patch notes that I didn't touch on last time that I want to talk about now. So we'll jump into that and see what's going on. First up, we got guild rating has been added to guild position. Essentially what's happening here is that you now have to wait 2 weeks after joining a guild in order to be able to receive guild payouts. So the design here is that people that were jumping from guild to guild in order to get circumvent sea monster taxing things can no longer do that because you have to be in the guild for 2 weeks before you can actually get the payout now. So that's been completely eliminated. It's on the test server, but like honestly, that's pretty clearly just going to go live in general because it just makes sense, obviously. So obviously, good thing there to eliminate essentially exploiting the system is what it was doing there. So got that. Some other things and changes that don't necessarily make a whole lot of sense as far as fantasy hemp. I don't know what they're talking about there, but Imperial delivery prices have been increased 3 times. The tier 1 through 8 horses, Imperial delivery and selling price have increased 3 times. So it looks like this is in an effort just to have it adjusted for the upcoming inflation that's expected with the new marketplace to happen, to make horses kind of in line along with that. No mention of the Cronstone changing for tier 9 updates, and in all honesty, across from the other servers and things that are going on, I don't think that that's going to happen. I think it's just going to cost more to cron your tier 9 attempts, and we're just going to have to get over it because we don't have a choice. It's just the way it's going to be. There's new siege weapons that were introduced, Ballista, which should change up a bit that happens in the node wars, how they work, so that's something that'll be interesting to see. Again, that being on the test servers, a little bit silly, though I kind of foresee them rolling that directly into live servers pretty quickly to actually test how that's going to go out. Kind of in general, the test servers just haven't actually been as test worthy as we've wanted them since they existed, but it is a little better than what they used to do, where they just throw random updates at us on live servers and then figure out if it worked later on. Here it talks about these darkness gap monsters. I think this is I'm not entirely sure what this means, whether it's a translation issue or not. Here, I'm not 100% what this is talking about. I think it's talking about Shadow Arena, but I'm not entirely sure here. This doesn't make super good amount of sense to me with what it's saying here. But again, we're working with Google Translate as far as what we get. Change here for magic damaging classes. This is also an interesting translation we're getting here, but essentially it says the damage to magic damage characters, being sorcerer, I believe this tamer, dark knight, witch, and wizard, has been reduced by about 10%. So with what that's saying is that those classes take 10% less damage from other characters. Not entirely sure if that's the case. There's rumor that it was supposed to be that you deal 10% more damage to classes that have natural magic DP buffs, being Striker and Mystic. This translation from Google doesn't say that at all, like at all. So I don't really know how this, as far as this says, I'm being led to understand there's just a flat 10% damage reduction to those specific characters in general. I know DK definitely needed that. Sork isn't going to hate it either. Tamer as well. I don't know if Witch and Wizard necessarily needed that because they have some other options for defensive setup at any rate, but we'll see. Also, again, you got to bear with me because that translation might not be spot on. There are also some Archer changes here, although it looks like it's listed for Mystic. It's supposed to say Archer here, and that's pretty much it. So that's what we got in the global test server that was just updated today. So some things that might be coming to live servers or might get rolled out to other live servers first and then come to us, not really sure. And what is most likely definitely coming to us very soon is, guess what? Cadry just got even better. Why is that, you might ask? Because good old Cadry, scroll drop rate increased 350%. So they're adjusting basically scroll drop rate all across the Valencia areas. Basham's increased by 20%. Naga's is up 200%. Fogan's is decreased by 10%. Crescent's decreased by 10%. Bandits decreased by 20%. Cadry increased 350%. Centaurs increased by 20%. Sulfur Mine increased by 50%. Ackman decreased by 15%. And Histria decreased by 30%. So what I believe they're doing here, if some players might recall, it was around last summer, there was a huge scroll nerf, and they kind of revamped how certain areas in Valencia work. Once upon a time, Cadry Ruins dropped scrolls the same as any other place in Valencia, and so did Nagas. And Nagas actually had decent scroll drop rate, was like the only thing you'd get there other than once in a while of Seraphs while you were leveling characters. That actually existed in the game before, and I mean, Gahaz was always a really good spot for scrolls in general, but it slowly warped into this, like, you want scrolls, you go to Gahaz and you PvP every 15 minutes and have to duel for spot and change servers and all this thing. It's morphed into that because of these changes they made back in last summer. One of those was they drastically increased Blackstone drop rates. This was around when enhanced weapon drops were and armor drops were becoming a thing. And so they kind of made Cadry this Blackstone farming area, and then on top of it, Cadry Ring being very worthless at the time, it really killed an already not super great place. It was already kind of lackluster, killed it off in general. Nagas became literally just good for XP, and then actually the Blackstone rate drop there is pretty good because they increased that a lot when they nerfed the scroll drop rate. So it looks like we're kind of balancing this out, and they're just going to bring everything back to about normal. From what I can tell in these, it looks like everything should drop the scroll rate as a Valencia drop around the same percentage. The reason why, well, first of all, we all know I love me some Cadry just in general. If nothing else is changed, if they don't decrease anything else at Cadry, and it's just a flat 350% buff, not just because that gets a 350 buff doesn't mean it's the best drop rate for scrolls in the area. I am assuming, based off this information, the decreases and the increases at spots, is that this is meant to bring all the places to the same drop rate. Of course, that's just pure speculation because I don't have these numbers, but that would be what I gather from this. If nothing else is affected at Cadry, it's actually, in my opinion, just flat out better than Gahaz. If that's the case, if they have the same scroll drop rate, Cadry is just better than Gahaz because you have the ring drop there, and the ring didn't used to matter, but now you can actually melt it for Yona fragments, which was introduced about a month ago. So with that existing, it's just better. I mean, Gahaz elites can drop Seraphs, but so can Cadry. There's a little more space at Gahaz for better rotations. That Cadry has like 2 actual rotations for it, but I mean, outside of that, it just seems on paper, if nothing else is affected with the drop rate here, Cadry will have everything Gahaz has, plus it has the ring drop. And not even just the ring world drop, if you haven't farmed there before, it also has these items, these blue circle things, these red ornament things, and then these obsidian black destruction little things. And you combine one of each, and it turns into a ring, and each of the pieces can be combined to the following piece. So like 9 of the blue rings can turn into the ruby ornament, and then 5 of the ruby ornaments can turn into the little black thing. So basically, anytime you get the little black thing to drop, it's essentially another Cadry ring. In addition to you can just get flat out Cadry drops too. So they're fairly often that you can actually get rings from there, melt them down, make some Bazzy belts, or just sell them outright, since they're currently listed like 17 mil or something outrageous, as people are anticipating the new marketplace to get introduced. So Cadry new hotspot, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when we get this. This did go live on the Korean servers last patch. For them last week, so we'll see if we get it this week or not. When they got the Yona fragment melting, it took about 3 weeks before it was brought onto our servers and went live. So it's possible that it might be 2 or 3 weeks before we get that. Everyone's speculation right now for tomorrow's patch is the new marketplace. It's kind of almost for sure we're either going to get it tomorrow or we're going to get it the following week from there, because they've just been kind of rolling it out in different servers one at a time, and it's NAEU's turn either here or next week. So it might go to like SEA or something tomorrow and then us the following week, or we might get it now. We'll have to see. Aside from that, the history and Akhman decrease, I mean, I get it if you're going to bring them like all to the same, but that kind of begs the question, should you have these top end grind spots actually the same rate as like Fogans? You know, like, should Fogans be dropping scrolls as often as Histria? Probably not. Again, I could be wrong with them kind of equalizing the scroll drop rate across everything. Don't really know for sure, but it'll be interesting to see. I like the change up. Of course, I always love any buff to my hometown Cadry ruins. Always pleased about that. But yeah, so we'll see how that plays out. And yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Just want to mention those couple of things going on. Nerfs. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think about that DP or increase for, or damage buff increase, damage reduction increase, whatever you want to call it, for the magic classes? How do you think that's going to impact PvP? Is that just an attempt to balance out how terrible like matchups are for Mystic and Striker? Like if you play DK and you see a Mystic or Striker, your best combo is to press the escape key and then click on end game and just disconnect, because you can't beat them as a DK very easily. You think this will kind of even it out, or is it maybe not even enough to do it? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it. If you are new here, make sure to subscribe so you get updates whenever we put new videos out. We will see what happens with the patch notes that come out tomorrow, and I will do a video covering those so we can kind of compare with what might get added up next week, and then we'll also look at the Korean patch notes and see what they got coming up, or if they changed anything from the test server that's moving forward. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Everybody, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.